because it could still be recording.
You're
like
live.
5 to 10 seconds afterwards. Hi, good morning. Welcome to Coffee
Good
Talk.
morning.
We are here with Ann Bryner, and we've got Chase behind the wheel over here to chime in occasionally if he wants to.
Hey, JB.
So, Ann,
Yes.
if people see you on the weekend, usually you're in the cafe.
Yes.
And you are one of my favorite parts of the weekend is to
the
come over and
face of the cafe.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And you're so smiley and so happy.
Because they don't let me touch anything else.
If you were making food, you'd probably throw in some extra ingredients.
Yeah.
Just make it yours. So you've been doing that for a little while. Mm-hmm. And you have, so you were just telling me, you and Jeff
Yes.
were like the original cafe at Suncoast way back in the day in Northport.
There was somebody else doing it before we did, because they gave us like a diagram of how the table was supposed to be set up.
Okay, so there was already a plan.
But we did take it over, and Jeff would, we'd buy donuts, but he'd a lot of times make breads, and, we'd make coffee, not great coffee, but we made coffee.
Right, not Amity Brothers.
Not Amity Brothers. But yeah, so we did that every Sunday. We'd go in and set up the tables, and the boys were young then. They'd have to set up the chairs and
so it was like a big family affair.
It kind of was. And then Ryan would come down and play drums every once in a while, and he used to make fun that the only song that we ever sang was "Oh No, You Never Let Go."
Yeah.
He's like, "We're going to Suncoast again. Got to sing "Oh No."
So that was, how long ago was Suncoast in Northport? That was like what do you call that? A satellite campus?
It was a satellite campus, which is weird because, we'd watch Larry on the big screen, and we'd watch him live. But I didn't know Larry, so I was like, this guy's like a used car salesman, but he's a really good preacher, And then, he'd come to some of our events, and he'd just know your name and know you, and you're like, wow, he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's an amazing guy.
But you had Mitch Burke.
We had Mitch
or Burks.
Burks.
Which one is it?
Burks with an S.
With an S.
Burks with an S.
So he'll be coming on Thursday, and I told you before, you can basically tell me whatever you want about him because he gets a chance to defend himself if he would like to. But he is a funny guy, and he was the campus pastor.
He was the campus pastor, and he knew everybody's name too, and he just warm hugs, and he was on the Israel trip with us too, so that was kind of fun.
You went to Israel?
I did go to Israel.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So Mitch was there. He was, a bundle of joy on the bus.
Yeah.
But the one thing Jeff used to make fun of him about was Mitch would always greet us, "Hey, how in the world are you?"
Yeah. I heard that was his catchphrase.
It was fun. It was good times.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of talked about this before because we've had Chris, Chase, and Parker all on. Mm-hmm. What was it like to be Chase's mom? You see these boys, doing parkour, things like that. What was it like to see them kind of grow up together? Because now they have this coffee company together.
Right.
They actually roasted in the back of your house initially, and now they've moved to your own space. Yeah.
Yep. It was definitely fun. It was super fun. And Arlene and Chris's mom, we were all just good friends. And growing the kids up together and going to youth group and getting tickets. Because we lived in Northport, and the rest of the gang lived in Sarasota.
Okay.
So I'd drive the gang up to Sarasota, and we'd be headbanging in the car listening to crazy stuff.
I heard this story, the crazy stuff you were listening to.
We listened to Veggie Rocks.
Veggie Rocks.
Sorry, not Veggie Tales.
Veggie Tales, but redone by rock bands.
Yes.
So literally the theme song, Veggie Tales, you would listen to that, but
yeah. Definitely.
And you got pulled over once while listening to that.
While listening to that, because I was going through a construction zone, and it cost me $250. I got home and told my husband. He's like, "What? That's grocery money for 2 weeks."
So then she takes a CD and slams it down on my desk. She says, "You could have this back."
Brought me nothing but bad luck. Oh, that's amazing.
It was fun times.
So I heard also about this puppet ministry that happened with
that
Jeff.
happened in Suncoast, yeah.
Okay,
with
so
Jeff.
Why? Why puppets?
I don't know. Well, you've seen pictures of my husband. He was a big, burly, bald-headed. So that's how I knew when he really came to the Lord, because I came home and he's like, he was on disability, so he'd be home all day and he'd be like, I think I want to start a puppet ministry. Puppet ministry? I'm like kickboxing maybe, like arm wrestling ministry, but puppets?
Yeah.
And when Jeff wanted to do something, the whole family had to do it. So, including Ryan and Chris. I mean, we actually went to a recording studio once and recorded a puppet show that my husband wrote.
Like a legit recording studio. like,
okay, wait, how did... So it was just like on him and he just like did, so it was like a video recording?
No,
or just audio?
It was the audio recording.
I remember the intro and it was this like jungle theme, and it was like, you hear all this like jungle
bongos,
music. Yeah. He's like, I'm Mutu and I'm from deep in the forest of Africa, and he'd get this deep voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in this, like, I'm starting to get into music and we're in this professional recording studio and this is what we're recording, not music. We're recording, I'm Mutu. And it was very embarrassing, but
were you guys supportive at the time or was it just like, Dad's going to do what Dad's going to do?
Dad's going to make us do it anyway. We might as well. Yeah, he built the puppet stage. I had to sew the curtains for it. We'd bring the couch around, and Ryan and Chris and Chase would have to get behind the camera.
My dad would be like, hey, why don't you invite Ryan and Chris over this weekend? I'd be like, really? Cool. And then they'd come over, and he's like, all right, guys, here's your puppets. And we'd be like, nah, we don't want to do that, Dad. And he's like, all right, I guess you don't want to eat. And I'd be like... All right, we'll do it for a little bit.
Did he like...
Meanwhile, he'd be making something smell really good in the house, like roast steak or something. I don't know.
I heard, so one of the recipes that I heard was like his best was beer cheese soup or something like that.
Yeah, he had some good beer cheese soup.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. So in the Bryner house, we have puppets, we have food, and humor. Yeah. I feel like there's so much laughter, so much just the sense of humor, like being able to find something funny in basically anything, any situation.
Yeah, he was pretty funny, but very strict. And the kids had to get their chores done. And,
So with the puppets, this is my curiosity. Did he like teach you how to properly puppet? Or was he like, whatever happens, like the puppet just needs to...
He tried to puppet coach.
Yeah, he did a little bit.
Totally tried to puppet
and
coach.
Ryan was pretty big back then, and we didn't make the stage very big. So we all had to like really sit very awkward. So we were holding each other's arms up every time like somebody else went, we're all holding each other's arms, making sure it's fine.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And we even brought the puppets up here one Easter, I think. We did an Easter show up here on the big campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what happened with the puppet ministry? Was it like
we're just kind of fizzled out, and the kids got too big to fit in the stage anymore. And
see them spilling out on the sides. You're like, the magic is gone.
We donated them away to other churches.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you remember? Did you play puppets?
I did have to play puppets.
Which ones did you play? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I remember being really bad at it. Like I could not. I knew the words, but I couldn't get my hands to do.
Right.
I would just be like,
Did he voice everything? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you didn't have to voice it too. Mm-mm. Okay, that makes sense.
Is there another place other than church where puppets are a thing?
I don't know.
I mean, schools?
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Oh, those are Muppets.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah. I was going to say TV shows,
somewhere.
but
yeah.
TV shows, and then school is the only thing I can imagine is when like touring groups would come through to be like, we're going to teach you about bullying, and then they pull out like the puppets, and then
child psychologist office.
Yeah, that is true.
That's true.
Show me on the puppet.
Should have remembered that one.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming back to him now.
That's right.
I'm good, too.
The jungle music is like, no. So you currently work in the Starbucks in Barnes & Noble.
Yes.
So is it a Starbucks like you would typically find everywhere else, or is there something?
It's Barnes & Noble. Okay. It's definitely Barnes & Noble Cafe. We are licensed to sell Starbucks products. Okay. So we're trained by Starbucks. We adhere to their standards, but everything else is pretty much Barnes & Noble. Mm-hmm. And it's a fun place. I've been there for probably 14, 15 years. Okay. Long time.
So is it different to work in a place, because coffee shops are usually what attract people to do like homework, studying, or like little kind of hangouts, but you have a bookstore. Mm-hmm. So do you get a lot of people just coming in to read?
And we have a lot of people coming in to study. I've had people study medical and come in after their doctors. And,
wow.
I'm like, I knew you when. And Some of the people that I've hired have come to story time when they were little kids.
Oh, wow.
So I have a history there. It's a big, long history. I did wait on somebody from Suncoast the other day, and she's like, I didn't know you worked here. I said, yeah, I've been here 15 years. She goes, I hope they've made you manager by now.
Which they have.
I was hired as a manager.
Yeah. So, but you also train people. So this is kind of an interesting thing. So when you work in a place and you know it, the ins and outs, everything, you kind of have recurring customers, like you have been there.
Oh, yeah.
What is it like to have people come through and you train them kind of knowing that they're going to probably fly away soon?
It's heartbreaking, and you hear the same things with people that work in the children's ministry. I mean, you just love these people and you pour into them, and then they grow up and leave you.
Yeah.
The heck is that?
So do you ever like not train them fully because you're like, you'll never really need to know this because you're probably going to be out soon? Or are you like full training, like you imagine everyone's going to be here for the rest of their lives?
I fully train, but half of them go to Starbucks because it's cooler, so I've trained them. I
You're
teach
like,
them
I'm the reason Starbucks is so
ethics
good.
and stuff like that, and then they go to Starbucks or away to college or something like that,
Yeah, to learn.
I know, rough.
Everybody's rolling their eyes right now. No, just kidding. So what is your favorite part of working there? I mean, like I said, you're in a bookstore. It's kind of it has this feeling, like anytime I've been in there before, it just feels like potential. Like you go in there like, am I going to find a book that I love?
You walk through the bookstore and you're like, every one of these books has a million ideas.
Right.
And there's a million books. And you're just like, there's so many thoughts and ideas and crazy, like you could just pick a book up. And we have some people that come every day because I think they have no place else to go. And I'm thinking, if that was my opportunity, man, I'd be learning everything I had to learn to, better myself. But I can't because I'm making coffee.
So you're like, I'll just stay the same.
Yeah. Well, and you're behind the counter, and that's my comfort zone. And when I'm there, I'm not Jeff's wife or Chase's mom, or that's my zone. And I'm amazing at it. Get me out of that. Get me on the book floor, and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I know where the bathrooms are.
Yeah.
But, so, but I'm really comfortable there.
So what drew you to doing that?
I was actually recruited. I worked at Boston Market. You know, on the corner there where that McDonald's is, it used to be a Boston Market.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I worked at Boston Market, and the manager from Barnes & Noble came in, and the woman before him had an issue with her... I think it was cream spinach the night before. I'm like, well, I didn't work last night, but, let me, taste the cream spinach now. I'll replace your order for... She left smiling, happy. He's the person behind her. He's looking at me like, you are handling this really well. He went back to Barnes & Noble and called me up and said, please just come work for me.
Oh, wow.
Which was great because I was quitting Boston Market and I was going to go back to Taco Bell, which is really not a great move.
Wait, you worked at Taco Bell?
Yeah, I used to manage Taco Bell.
I love Taco Bell. Uh-oh, wait. Well, you can ruin it for me. I've been waiting for someone to ruin it for me, so I don't
Taco
have to
Bell is great. It's fun. It's late nights and it's drive-through and you get that contact high after, people. You want to go over 10-pack of tacos? Yes, take me with you. So I didn't want to go back to that. So Boston Market, I left Boston Market and went to Barnes & Noble, which is coffee and pastries and nice customers. You don't have to touch raw chicken or tacos or any of that. So, and they paid me just as much or better than a fast food manager. So it's been a really good 15 years for me. Really good. And raised my kids on that money, so it was...
Yeah. Do you feel like maybe you working in a coffee shop inspired a little bit of the coffee lover in Chase?
Well, Chris worked for me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Where's Chris? Is he still in here?
Yeah.
There he is. Okay.
Chris worked for me.
Said you were a good boss?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, so Chris worked for me, and then he went away to Master's Commission, and he started a cafe there, didn't you?
He's coming in.
He's coming up to the
hot.
mic.
Yeah, you were my first boss.
Yeah. But when you went to Master Commission, I remember you calling me, you're like, can I have some forms?
Yeah, I started a cafe there, and so I I had you help me write up.
Yeah,
stuff.
so I.
Wow. So you.
And
I
now
feel
he
like,
owns his own coffee.
I know,
roasting
right?
company.
I feel like all of these things that's been going on. So Amity Brothers, we have the cafe at Suncoast. I feel like we can trace the roots back to Anne Bryner.
Maybe.
We have found
We're actually starting a puppet ministry as well. So anybody-
what.
Amity puppets. Don't go there.
You're like, I
Don't
know.
go there.
I've been there before. So let's see. You lived in Northport.
Yeah.
And you, ooh, okay. So this is fun. Did you ever have pets? So I would say growing up, but like when you had the boys in the house, because you had 3 boys. Did you guys have animals
Oh, yeah.
besides the raccoons that came into your garage occasionally?
Oh, yeah. We always
Okay.
had pets.
Okay. And then you guys just got Winston, who's the new
Winston.
dog.
Yeah.
So if people may remember, Chase was talking about Winston on 4th of July.
Right.
Didn't seem like a good time for him. No. But he is your dog.
He's my dog.
Okay.
He was a gift.
Okay.
Yes.
So what is
Chase
it?
and Hope gave me a birthday gift.
So it was a birthday gift. Okay.
Yeah.
So was that the type of dog that you had always wanted? I know he was.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they.
She wanted the mustache. Was very important in a dog because it looked like an old man.
Yeah, they do.
I kind of.
The little terrier. Yeah.
Kind of like old men. I don't know.
So you have Winston.
So I have Winston.
And is he getting better? Do you feel like he's kind of
A
acclimated?
little bit. I mean, he ate through a door.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, he ate through a door, but he's getting better. What do you think, Jay?
I think he's just getting cuter, so you tend to like forgive him faster.
That could be.
You're
That'd
like,
be good.
maybe not.
But they told us that he was not good with other dogs. Like
Okay.
this dog is just keep it away from other dogs. And Chase has a dog, Belle, and I obviously live with Chase. I rent from my son, and the dogs are like this when you walk. They're like, they don't separate. They're so cute.
Oh.
They're really cute.
Yeah,
So-
that I probably shouldn't have brought her Winston home, but they're like, yeah, do you have another dog? I'm like, yeah, but well, we got 2 different. I have a trailer in the back, so it's like they're never together. And so I was like, I need to get this dog home because there was
Yeah.
like 3 other people in the room trying to buy this dog. So I was just like, we'll just do a little fib here, and then brought it home, and they were amazing together. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Like right off the bat, like
Yeah.
as soon as they met?
Right off the bat.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is so sweet.
Little butt sniffing went on.
Yeah. That has to happen. That's how
Yeah.
dogs say hello. So what is it like having a dog that is, I mean, he's like a decent sized dog
Yeah.
who's a little rambunctious. Is it almost like having a small child?
It sort of is. And it's funny because my son Andrew came last weekend and his 3 little kids. And the dog, when the kids left, the dog was like, where'd all my playmates go?
Aw.
Like, he had so much fun running around with the
Yeah.
kids. I love him. I like having somebody to snuggle with at night. And
Yeah.
Somebody
Is
to
there-
be responsible for again and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. So
I feel needed.
let's talk about, well, I mean, you raised 3 boys. So let's talk about that. How did that go?
Yeah, my 3 sons. They are crazy kids. Kyle is just the gentle giant. He's the oldest, and he always took care of the boys. And they were latchkey kids a lot. Jeff and I worked all the time, and so they pretty much raised themselves, I would think. And there was a lot that we found out about later that went on. There was a lamp involved one time.
Oh boy.
I
And,
want to know this story. Any stories that you have?
Andrew got in trouble for the lamp, and he was away at school. This is how things happen.
So there
at
was
my
like a way to tell on each other that you guys couldn't really figure out the patterns of what
Well,
happened?
I had this beautiful lamp, and Jeff, it was from my mom, and we spray painted it, and it was, what was that paint?
It was like a textured
like
paint. It looked like sandpaper, but it had all
Oh,
different
okay.
like kind of colors in it.
And the kids were rambunctious and played around the house and broke my lamp.
Oh, no.
And had this great idea, because I wasn't home, Jeff wasn't home. Let's make spitballs or something.
No. We took. I said I saw this at school. You take wet toilet paper and you put it over the broken piece,
It's like paper mache.
and then it will dry, and then we could spray paint it again.
So they did that and turned it to the back. And I didn't know for like another, year?
Yeah. Something like that.
What?
Another year or something. And we were moving, and I went to pick the lamp up, and it went, I'm like, Andrew! He's like, I'm not even home. I'm
Okay.
like, but you're the middle child. I know you did it. Chase is
Yeah.
in the back. laughing. Yeah. So there was many things like that. Many holes in walls, rugs on fire.
Rugs on fire?
Yeah, Andrew set the Andrew, I hope you're watching. Sorry, throwing you under the bus. But yeah, he was playing with something up in his bedroom, and there was a hole in the rug, burnt hole. And so I'm walking into the bedroom, and there's a trash can in the middle of the room. Like, why is there a trash can in the middle of the room? Let me empty it. Oh, burnt hole in the rug.
Don't you love kids' attempts to hide things?
So funny.
It's like nobody will ever move this trash can. If I just leave it here, they'll never know. So with having a very eventful time, let's say there's somebody watching right now and they have rambunctious children. Do you have any words of advice or wisdom?
Well, get a husband like Jeff. He keeps them in order. But we did sock hunts, like when it was laundry day, and I only had 2 socks, and I have 3 boys, and they each have a pair of socks for every day. So we had to go on a sock hunt. So that was at least a good 2 hours of whoever found the most socks gets, a cookie or something.
Dinner.
I like how food is the reward.
Food was always, it was.
When you have 3 boys, food is, that's gold. Yeah.
And everybody says, well, the Bryners just eat so fast. I mean, you'll go out to dinner with us and we'll be like, done.
Before anyone even looks,
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk Suncoast. I met Andrew, and I think you said Kyle was the oldest one. I can't remember if he was here for when we shot that little video.
He was.
Okay.
He was the really quiet one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So seeing you guys together was, I think, to me, how long has it been since Jeff passed?
2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you guys all came together and were looking through pictures and just kind of filmed you guys talking about all the memories and stories that you had. And I remember sitting there just thinking, I just love this family. You guys were incredible. And like I said, the humor just runs through everybody. And I remember watching and just thinking, this is such a special thing to be able to witness, to see these people sitting here talking about this person that they loved all the stories. And I just felt like I got to know Jeff, who I actually never met, but I feel like I got to know him during that time. So how did you guys meet? How did you and Jeff meet?
Jeff is all about food. It's all about restaurants. I came home. I went to school in Boston, and I came home to Jacksonville, is where I lived with my parents for the summer, and I got a job at Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant as a hostess, and he was a kitchen manager.
Okay.
And so the locker room was through the kitchen, so you had to go through the kitchen to change into your uniform, which was like a senorita dress,
okay.
So I'd walk through the kitchen and I'd hear, ow, ow, something like that. And I'm looking around, there's all these, people in this Mexican restaurant kitchen. And I didn't know who it was. And then one day, there were roses on the what do you call it?
Hostess stand?
The hostess stand. Thank you, Chase.
You're welcome.
And it was to Anne from Bolt. And I was dating a man, and his name was Boyd. And I thought, all right, the florist just...
Right. Got it wrong.
And then Jeff said, how'd you like your roses? I'm like, those are from you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, who's Bolt? Long story short, he had a tattoo. He had... been out drinking too much
Chris
one night.
is chuckling in the background right now.
So he had a tattoo, and it was just like a screw, like a
bolt.
Yeah,
it was a bolt. And so I guess some of his friends had taken him out when he was young and drank too much, and it was supposed to be screw you, because they were doing this to him while he was. But they couldn't afford the U, so it was just this.
And they didn't even put a screw; they put a bolt.
So that's how we met. I met him. He was my boss at Chi-Chi's Mexican restaurant. Aww. And when I went to school in Boston, I went to an all-girls school. But I was home for the summer, and he called my house, and my dad picked up the phone, and he's thinking, she has a man in her room,
Yeah.
So it was an odd thing. We dated 3 months. Probably, we got engaged.
What?
But I was Catholic, so we had to wait 6 months to get married.
Really? That's just a rule?
Yeah, you have to like be engaged 6 months, and you had to go to the priest, and he gives you questionnaires, and you're supposed to do these questionnaires separately. Jeff and I went to my kitchen table. I'm like, what are you answering? What are you answering? What are you answering? Handed our papers into to the priest, and he's like, all right, you can get married.
He's like, the handwriting is the same on both of them, though.
You both misspelled everything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so
Yeah.
so this would be 9 months then. But so you guys knew each other for a little bit before, or was it just kind of as soon as the ow happened?
As soon as I met him, I was like, well, I was a little wild, maybe. It was in my.
I love how you had to just wait for a moment. What's the word?
I gotta go.
This is the time where Chase exits.
My college years, and I was like, I'm gonna have that this summer. Because he was just so.
He's your dad, though, Chase. So
he was just so handsome, and just
Did you know he had the sense of humor that he had?
Sort of.
Okay.
So he wasn't really. He didn't really have that big of a sense of humor, but
wait, so you're the funny one?
Yeah, I don't know. Jeff really cleaved to my dad, and my dad had a really funny sense of humor.
Okay.
And so I think it just evolved, just being part of our family. And
Right.
I'm from a big family. You know that there's so many different personalities, and yeah.
Very cute. So when was Kyle born?
Kyle was born very soon after I was married, and we had nothing, like nothing. So we moved back in with my parents.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And Jeff and my mom didn't get along so well, but
Oh, no.
I know it was funny. She'd be like, I don't like him. And I'd walk in the room. She goes, he's such a nice guy.
She would say that to him?
She was getting older.
Okay.
My mother was 46 when I was born. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was change of life baby. So by the time, I got married, she was up there. But yeah, it was fun.
46. That's crazy. That's like blowing my mind right now.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
I'm the youngest of 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, we're done.
Oh, yeah.
We're not done.
She thought she was going through the change of life.
Yeah.
And so that's why she was not,
Right. Yeah.
And so my sisters joke that, she was getting chubby, and she'd watch Jack LaLanne in the morning and be doing sit-ups and stuff. And
little did she know.
And my father said to my oldest sister, Marion, you have to go to the doctor with me and Mom, because he knew.
Really?
But she was like, not.
Just in denial?
I guess.
Wow.
So yeah, so they took us to the doctor, and there I come.
So what's the age difference between
20
the next?
years.
So the next.
No, 20 years between the oldest and me.
Okay.
Between me and my brother, I don't know, maybe 7 years maybe.
Okay. So you were like basically you were like the baby doll for the rest of your siblings.
Right.
Aw.
Yeah.
So I mean, I also grew up in a big family, and I feel like the family dynamics definitely play into what kind of
So
person
much.
you become.
So much.
So do you feel like being the youngest and being so much younger than all the rest of the siblings, do you feel like that?
No, I don't. It's strange, and I haven't really studied, the birth order thing, but because I was fairly separated from the family, I think I'm the oldest of another.
Okay.
I'm sort of an only child.
Right.
And in addition to that, my sister Marion had her first daughter when I was 3, so I was an aunt at 3.
Whoa.
So I cleaved to them as my little siblings, and so I was kind of the oldest in that group. So I kind of can play it both ways, So if I'm with my siblings, I can be the youngest.
Right.
But if I'm with, Marion's kids or my nieces and nephews, I'm like the older sister.
Yeah. Do you feel like it changes your personality a little bit when you're around them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which one's the more fun one? Does Chase have an opinion on that?
No, I don't.
Chase, I'm always fun.
I love how you're giving him the stare. Like, you
Yeah.
better agree with me right now. We're live on the internet. So if
Interwebs.
if you were going to be the most fun version of you, what would you be doing?
I'd go to game night with Anita again.
Okay. Why?
Because
What
that was
happened?
just a room full of ladies playing silly games and laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
And she's only done it once. And I'm like, Anita.
Well, hopefully she's watching right now.
Yeah, Anita.
This is internet pressure.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Or just being with my boys, because they just make me laugh all the time. They're just crazies.
Can you tell me one of your favorite memories, like a family memory, where maybe something went horribly wrong or something went very, very well?
Probably the move back from Chicago. That was.
I love this little like.
I know what you're about to say.
Because Chase was very tiny then. And we moved to Chicago because Jeff was in restaurants. We both worked for Sbarro's Pizza.
Okay.
And he opened the biggest Sbarro's in the Sears Tower. Biggest Sbarro's ever. He met Mama Sbarro. She took him by the ear. And yeah. So, long story short, he does not get along well with the owner of that franchise because my husband had a personality. And not everybody could get along with him. So we ended up moving back to Florida. And I had a little Subaru. You know, it was hard to drive in the snow in that. And Jeff rents a big U-Haul, and we packed the Subaru up. So we're towing it. So we all have to fit in the truck.
Which is just the front seats.
Did it have back seats?
I feel like moving trucks usually don't.
No. But Chase was so small, so he had to sit on the hump. From Chicago to Florida.
You know, I was claustrophobic.
Oh no! Was it one of those like you guys are straight through drivers? Like there's no stop offs?
We had to stop. Oh
yeah,
yeah. Because it was, you know, you have to have food.
Yeah, true.
Because we're Bryners.
Very true. So
yeah, that was one of those. Like, we didn't even have a place to live then. We were coming down to live with my mother-in-law until we found our house in Northport, the one that burnt. So
yeah, I was gonna say we're getting to that story. So this happened after you guys had moved back.
Yeah,
so
we
you
moved
had the
back.
Whole family.
We had a really cute little house on Monday Terrace in Northport, and the electricity went out, which happened a lot in Northport. Just for no reason, lights would go out, and I think I went to work, and Jeff had the 3 boys, and he's like, "Well, let's go fishing. Can't play video games. Might as well go fishing."
Yeah.
So. But food first. He gets the cooler out, puts it on the stove, empties the refrigerator. We got to save the food. So all the food's in the cooler on the stove. What he forgot was he tried to make eggs that morning and turned the stove on and realized, we don't have electricity. I can't make eggs. Let's take the kids fishing.
Right.
So they go fishing. The lights come back on. The stove is on. The cooler's on the stove.
Oh, no.
So he comes home, and it was right after Christmas, and I had just gotten new furniture, like a couch and, you know, like rent-to-own couch.
Yeah, yeah.
The one new piece of furniture I've ever had.
You're like, no one sit on this.
He's like, Anne, good news and bad news.
Oh, no.
The good news is the kids and I are all okay. The bad news is the house is on fire and everything's gone. I'm like, you go around back, you open that sliding glass door, and you get that couch.
Yeah.
Was it just burnt to a crisp, or was it okay?
The only thing that wasn't burnt was the stuff in Kyle's room, because he was the oldest and he closed his bedroom door. So everything in his room was, well, of course, everything gets ruined anyway because the firemen just come in and they hose everything. So if it wasn't burnt, it was soaked
damaged
and
in some
demolished.
way, right? Yeah.
The only thing that really wasn't damaged was the stuff in the dishwasher. Which was interesting because we had just had a Christmas company, and I had maybe 4 or 5 pieces of crystal from when I got married, and those are the only 4 or 5 pieces I have left. Everything else, like the cabinets, fell off.
Wow.
I remember going in the house.
You couldn't tell that the house was on fire when we were walking up because we had gone to the store to get. It was actually we went to the store to get like bait. And stuff.
Oh, okay.
So we were coming back from, it was like Walmart or something, and we have our groceries. We walk right up to the front door and open the door, and then we just get hit with the smoke because you couldn't tell the house was on fire when we were pulling up. And then we went around back and we just watched the whole thing just go.
And I remember going in the house afterwards, and I hear the phone ringing, and I'm like,
that's eerie.
And you look over, and it's one of, it was back when we didn't have cell phones, and our phone was just melted. It was just this blob of plastic. You couldn't even but it was ringing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, somebody's trying to call me. My sisters are worried. You know? And then Jeff, the company that Jeff worked for, put us up in a hotel because we were opening. What was the name?
South Beach Cafe.
South Beach Cafe. It's now
Joey D's.
Joey D's.
Oh.
right
by Ale House.
by Ale House, that big. So my husband opened a restaurant in there, and we
Nice.
stayed at the Holiday Inn or whatever,
Yeah.
right behind it. And the kids were like, "We're gonna go."
This is the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should burn down every house. Yeah, this is great.
So yeah, that was a good time.
So I also heard when Chase was a newborn baby that you slept through a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
When you brought him home for the first
Yeah,
time.
we lived in Georgia then.
Okay.
Well, I've lived everywhere, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We lived in Georgia then. Yeah, I brought Chase home from the hospital. The other boys were at nursery, whatever. Jeff was at work, and we had a roommate. His name was Eugene. He worked with my husband, and Eugene was huge, man. He was from Michigan, and he'd call me Miss Ann. So he'd call up and Miss Ann, you know there's a tornado? I'm like, I look out the back window. Check on the baby first.
Mm-hmm.
He's okay. Look out the back window, and literally a block behind me, it was like a dollhouse. The whole front of the house was gone, and you can see into girls' bedrooms, living room, like furniture still intact, but the front of the house was gone. Like that's how close it was. And I slept through the whole thing. Chase and I both slept through the whole thing. Oh. Like if that had been one block over,
Yeah.
He'd have been messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, nature is wild. Because like, what do you do though? Like even if he had warned you and you were like, oh, I see it coming. What do you do?
I could have gone down to the basement or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Basements. I guess that's the best way to be safe from
Yeah.
a big swirling.
I don't know. We didn't have one of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say in Florida, I don't know much about basements.
No.
we can't have those here.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine
It
that.
was weird.
Yeah.
It was really weird. I was like, thank you. Whoever protected me here.
Yeah. So that was on the list so Chase sent me kind of like little fun stories and stuff, and that was part of the list. How did they tell you that story? How did you find out that you were a baby and you were in the house when a tornado was flying by?
I don't remember. I mean, it must have been just like whenever a storm came by, we were. I've only seen like one tornado, like I forget where that was, but my mom would bring it up. We slept through a tornado one time. And that was like the bragging story in school. You're like, yeah, I slept through a tornado. So.
Aw, that's fun.
Well, when the hurricane came, what was it? What hit Port Charlotte? Charlie? When Hurricane Charlie came, we had, excuse me, we knew it was coming. It was coming towards us, and it was coming fast. So we got into the little hall, and we had Chase's, you had a futon at the time. We had his futon mattress over us, and we're all just sitting, and it's not raining or storming.
Right.
It's like the quiet before the storm. It's getting hot. There's no air conditioning. Like, Jeff's like, I'm out of here. And then the phone rings, and I'm like, all right, who's going to go get the phone? Who am I throwing out of this safety net?
Right.
And it was my mother-in-law calling to find out if we were okay in the storm. I'm like, yeah, we're okay. And
so
by that,
your house stood up?
yeah, okay. I think we lost a light fixture in the front of the house. It was, we were without power for a long time.
Right.
But at that point, we were like, let's just go sit on the lanai and watch this thing.
Yeah.
So we went outside and watched it. It was kind of nice.
That's kind of like Irma. Where were you guys when Irma happened?
We were here.
We were here.
You were at Suncoast?
Yeah.
Do you remember walking out? The most eerie thing I've ever experienced was everyone in the auditorium listening on radios and trying to get updates and hearing like, oh, it's taking a turn towards us. And then all the people in the grand hall, so it's dark outside, but occasionally you'd see these flashes of light and you just see like the trees just blowing.
Right.
And people were just like zombies, just standing, just staring out the windows, just watching.
They had set seats up. Do you remember that? Like it was like a
show.
An amphitheater.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's crazy that people, that's the only thing on everybody's mind was what's happening with the storm right now.
Exactly.
Like dogs everywhere, cats everywhere, people sleeping on the floor, everything. But then
Talk
you
about
walk out.
Some snakes. We could have eaten that night.
We were talking about Naked and Afraid, how all they ever eat is snakes. Yeah, we could have. There were quite a few in there.
There were quite a few.
It's just so weird how nature can do that to people. How like the human being just becomes, we all kind of went back to our primal, like we're just going to watch this. And it's this.
It was so powerful though. I mean, the trees outside our church are amazing. I mean, they're just huge, beautiful things. And to see them bend,
Yeah, it was weird.
it was kind of scary.
But then we had, do you know what he did during during Irma?
Let's not, say what he did or didn't do.
So I personally thought we had lost Chase, as in the storm had swept him away.
Oh, no.
Because he
went out for coffee.
I don't know what he went out for, but we were standing in the back
She was
room.
legitimately
I
scared.
honestly thought he flew away.
Wouldn't stop talking about it.
Yeah,
I
and
was
we
a
like
little
went
worried.
around on a hunt to try to find you. I'm like, has anyone seen Chase? He just okay, this is what happened. We were like, our goal was to like quietly sneak around all the people that were there just to like open the door to see if like
Head
what was
count?
happening.
Like,
Yeah, kind of.
okay.
So we went out there just with like a very small group. And we like opened the door and like, whoa, like it's so windy out there. And then Chase just like walks by all of us super fast. He's like, see ya, and just walks out. And I was like, he's gone. Like he didn't just joke and like turn around and come right back in. And he just left. And we're all like, okay, let's just go back to our hiding spot. I'm like, where did Chase just go? Like it's a storm outside. And then I'm going around asking everyone. Everyone's like, I don't know, I haven't seen him. And suddenly he just like walks back in another door. I'm like, oh my God. And I heard that you went out and like with a bar of soap and like
Took a shower
in Irma.
We did that during
Jeff
Charlie
did that
too.
during Charlie. He went out where
Oh, so
where
that's
the,
a thing.
During
It's a
the eye
thing.
of the storm, me and my brothers were out riding our bikes down the block, and all of a sudden we hear like my dad, cussing up a storm, no pun intended, and he's like, "Get your inside!
Yeah.
I'm gonna kick your." So, we better go.
Yeah.
Dad's gonna do more damage in the storm.
Right.
We were seeing trees knocked down, but yeah.
Just taking a shower. Just
we
a
had,
thing.
what do you call those? The ditches in front of houses, like the
A trench.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
alligators.
Yeah.
That's
And snakes.
I've seen some. Yeah, and
Yes.
snakes. Yeah.
We had a big one in front of our house in Northport, and I came home one day, and the boys had they had a plastic toy box, and they emptied it, and they had it in that, and they were rowing
In the ditches.
in the ditches because it was so full of water. But that's not as good as when you and Chris went down the Bradenton River.
Yeah, on air mattresses. And then we made.
I could not imagine being the mother of.
Well, Jeannie
funny part-
Lemaster had them that weekend.
Oh.
They were staying at Chris's
So
house.
they weren't
The
even in
funny
your
part was
care.
Ryan Parker couldn't at the time fit on the air mattresses with us, so we tied him to a little like donut raft, and we just pulled him, and you couldn't even see the raft. It would just look like he was sitting on the water
Yeah.
behind us.
Are there alligators in there?
Yes, a lot.
Oh, that's
See, they're going to be great because they've made it through all that.
Right.
I mean, if you can conquer boyhood with these three guys,
yeah, exactly.
they're
You're
gonna
set.
Be, yeah.
Anything that comes your way, you're like, I've survived worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything we want to respond to in comments before we peace on out of here?
Just a lot of people saying nice things about Anne.
Aw.
So if you go back on this later,
Liar.
I think
Like a lot of people saying how you have the best smile and you're a movie star beautiful, and
yes,
there's
it is
another
so
game
true.
night coming up. Lisa said that.
Oh, thank you.
You can go back and
Great.
read all of them.
Yeah,
There's too many to.
if you go back on this, go to like the very end.
Chase, pay attention to
And
this.
then click on
you'll
live
have to
chat.
get-
Yeah, I was gonna say if you click on live chat and scroll to the very end, you'll see all the comments that came through.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, you do that. You get to sit and read all the lovely comments.
Oh,
but
fun.
We're gonna exit this live stream. Isn't this fun?
Oh,
Did you just
I caught
get that?
I
Did
caught
you
it.
just? Oh,
I caught the exit of it.
the dab. It happened. So
It
thank
happens.
you. Wasn't this crazy? We were just live on the internet. Anne, what do you think about that?
I'm peeing myself right now.